What's going on? Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Coach D's Corner. We got Coach D in the hit house. We about to get into some really interesting stuff. We were having a conversation a little bit earlier today about just some more in-depth stuff with the Bills versus Patriots game. We got some intro stuff for the Bills Falcons game coming up, which I think is going to for sure be a win. But we'll talk about that. Coach D, what's going on?
What's going on, peeps? I thought New England was going to for sure be a win too.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
We had them going undefeated for a minute.
Yeah. But I mean, let's start here. Let's start here because I want to make sure we get everything in. We don't have a lot of time, but when we talked earlier, you were saying that the biggest thing or the biggest reason why the Bills lost this game had to do with identity, right?
Well, actually, I'm gonna give you credit on that. You actually brought out the whole identity thought. My whole goal was to ask you the question so we can get go deeper into the thought of it. I mean, I know part of what you do in your plethora of shows is you want to think a little more critically and a little more analytically and go deeper into the whys and the how-tos and the thought processes that go into playing this game of football, that go into coaching the game of football. And I just think that when I posed that question to you, your answer reflected like it's not just about players. It's not just about speed. It's not just about strength and power. There's a whole nother dimension that go into performing and actually that go into winning that the average fan don't really think about. And so we wanted to, you bring that to them anyway, but I wanted to, think on that because there's a reason why the Bills lost Sunday to a team that we can say or should say they should have won.
Yeah.
But there's reason that go into it. And what happens a lot of times is at least the remaining teams on the Bills schedule, but all 32 teams are going to look at the in-depth reason to why the Bills lost that game.
Right. And ultimately, that's the biggest issue that I have with losses like this is, the Patriots for 2 decades were the team that, even if we started off 4-2, 5-1 or whatever, when we played the Patriots, they had the answer, and then the rest of the league started doing the same exact stuff. So you're absolutely right. This is something that we have to be concerned about now when it comes to, the identity of our team, because I think that's a major issue. And I'll give Keyshawn credit for saying for starting the conversation on that, because when you look at what Mike Vrabel was saying to the locker room after they beat us, it was, this is our identity, man. Like, he kept saying it. Like, that was one of the reasons why I was thinking about it so much, is he kept going on about this is who we are. Now we just need to be consistent, right? The way that they played the game, the execution, all that had to do with identifying with who they were. They were physical. They were, punch you in the face. They were, I want every tackle I can get. They were going out there to take the game from the Buffalo Bills. And I think we've seen too many times the Buffalo Bills go and play teams like that are hungry and physical, and the finesse style that we seem to employ more times than not doesn't match up well against that.
Yeah, and it's hard for to think that a professional football team played from a finesse perspective. Right? It's hard. There's degrees in everything, and there's a degree of physicality. There's a degree of intensity. There's a degree of want to and desire that go into being exceptional at this level. And you're right. There's a philosophy that every team has. There's an identity that every team plays from.
Yeah.
And that's important for us to realize that and what goes into that identity is everything from the coaches' personality to how you coach a team. And a lot of times the old adage of teams reflect the personality of their coach.
Yep.
And some coaches try to present this pseudo personality of tough and rugged and hard, but the team don't play like that.
Right.
They're really exposing you. They're really exposing you. If the team don't, if the adage is true, if you subscribe to that adage of a team is a reflection or plays it, the way a team plays is a reflection of their coach. And I also think philosophy is a reflection of the inner qualities of a coach.
Okay.
And when you look at a philosophy, there's a Mike Vrabel, in your face, maul you, push you around, like, and his defensive makeup speaks to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's, if you examine all 32 teams, you'll see that, there's an aspect, might not be 100%, but there's a high percentage of the coaches and his staff's makeup, energy, passion, tenacity. They say, they talking about the Detroit Lions. I was watching Tom Brady today put Detroit Lions the number one team, and I don't care, whenever you talk about Detroit Lions, everybody always talks about the energy and the passion, and they're a reflection of their coach and how they play.
Yeah.
Like, so does that apply here in Buffalo?
I think it has to. I subscribe to it. But let's get into that, right? Because one of the other things that we were talking about that has to do with philosophy is the everybody eats mantra, right? And how that reflected on this particular game, and more specifically with not just Stephon Diggs' performance, but Dalton Kincaid's performance, right? Dalton Kincaid had the most yards. He tied for the most catches in the game with 6, with Khalil Shakir. But I went back and I looked at the third down plays from, and I'll pull up the video here so that we can go through. Let me see. I need to get to, I think, yep, this is it. Okay, so let me pull this video up, and I wanted to show you and our viewers where is it here? Yep, that one. Okay. So, all right, here we have it. This is, let me see what down the distance is. This is 3rd and 10 in the first quarter, 6:29 left in the quarter. Okay. And on this route, this was let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. Okay. So this is the fade route that they threw to Keon Coleman on the top hat. Can you see this? I just want to make sure you can. Okay, hold on.
No, I can't. Oh,
all right.
There we go.
Yep. So in the top half of the field here, you're going to see the fade route go to Keon Coleman right over here. And then tell me what you think about this route that Dalton Kincaid ran that, in my opinion, looks like it could have gone for a first down. Mm-hmm. And then I want to show you the other fade route that they threw to Keon Coleman, where it seems like they try to just force some of these concepts to be, even when it's not there, right? And then I'll get to my point in bringing this up afterwards. So I'll start the play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that ended up being contested and out of there, but let me just back it up just a little bit. So here, and I understand the ball's already out, but
what down is it?
This is third and 10.
Got it.
So this is 3rd and 10. Dalton Kincaid has this much distance between himself and the defender. This guy is running with Coleman. He's not even looking at anything else going on. Gonzalez is engaged with I think that's Palmer up top there. So in my brain, if the ball is out on time to this route where Kincaid is right here, he's got enough leverage and distance to push through for the first down there. No?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but ball would be getting there about now. Probably not.
Okay.
But I can tell you right now, in Josh's mind, when this play was called, I'm not throwing it underneath the sticks. And I got Keon one-on-one. I take my chances. So his mind was made up from the start. He was going to give Keon a shot. I mean, Dalton could have broke the tackle and got the first down, but the mindset Josh was in on that play was, it's 3rd and 10. I'm not throwing the 5-yard route.
Okay.
I mean, and so he was open though, right? And to your point, I think is where you're going. If you have a guy that you want to get the ball to, in that case, you make sure that guy in that play is running a route that's going to get you the first down.
Right. And I guess you beat me to the point there. And that's exactly where I'm going with that. Is when you are seeing that you have a guy that is winning, when you see that you have a guy that is unguardable in a sense, which watching a lot of I watched every route that Dalton Kincaid ran in the entire game, and zone play open, finding ways to get open, man coverage open every time, unless there was pass interference going on. They were holding him, whatever. There was a couple of cases of that. Matter of fact, I can show that too, because on the last play to Shakir, Kincaid was actually in a pretty decent space. And I think you pointed this out when we were watching the film on Monday, before Monday's show. You were pointing this out. Let me get to the play. So this is the last play of the Bills' possession, 4th quarter, 2 minutes 31 seconds left, 3rd down and 10. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where Josh scrambles out.
Too soon.
Right, of course, absolutely, too soon. But at this point here, where he's kind of deciding to go back inside, watch Kincaid. And let me back this up just a little bit, because you'll see Kincaid was interfered with right here at the sticks. Here it is right here. So he got pushed, right?
Yeah.
So the defender was trying to push him out of bounds so he couldn't come in and get the pass, right? So now Josh is going back inside. Watch Kincaid wide open there. The ball is already thrown to Shakir.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Josh not seeing that. He know the clock is ticking. Remember, on this play too, I actually thought if he pulled it down and keep on going
ran over here,
ain't nothing over there. But at this time, the clock is ticking. The pressure's coming. He don't even see Kincaid. He don't even see him.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, to your point, like I think it's to the offense's advantage more than it is to the defense's disadvantage to have a guy you want to get the ball to, and everybody know it. Everybody know it.
Yeah. If I don't have to move my coverage over to one particular guy or dedicate 2 players to bracketing, it makes my job as a defensive coordinator so much easier. I can blitz from wherever. And
I can play my brand, I can play my ball, I can sit back there, I can let everybody play and see everything. I mean, there's some advantages to not really a defense not really knowing where you're going with the ball, but then there's some disadvantages as well.
Right.
And what you got to do is weigh which is most advantageous or which is most conducive to winning and being consistent on 3rd down and being consistent and efficient in passing the football. And the one thing that's going to always be difficult for fans to see, the average fan to see anyway, is Josh's ability to cover all that other stuff up.
Yep.
It's like the scripture. It says, what does it say? Oh, I can't even think of it. Anyway, the idea of it is Christ covered a multitude of sin.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Josh covers a multitude of bad play calling, bad route running. I mean, Josh is able to cover bad pass blocking. He's able to cover a lot of those things. So they're blind to us.
Did I tell you that Sean called him Sean said in the press conference on Tuesday that he that he calls Josh the great eraser?
Oh, I didn't hear that. No.
Oh my gosh, he said it in the press conference.
That's it. That's it. There you go. That's exactly the idea. Now it's interesting. That's interesting now.
That he said it?
That he said that.
Why is that?
Because how do you resist as a play designer, as a play caller? How do you resist leaning on that?
Right.
How do you resist depending on that?
Right.
Don't worry about it. Josh gets out of it.
Yep.
I don't worry about Josh gets out of it. Oh, that's not quite a bad. Don't worry about it. Josh will figure it out. Right. And you're not always putting him in the best position, and that's not to say that's what happens, but it's hard not to lean on the notion of, and to Josh's credit, like I said last week, he's figured it out. Yeah. He's figured it out. He's figured out how it's a luxury. It's a luxury until it's not a luxury.
Like the Patriots game.
Yeah. Like the Patriots game. It's a luxury until you have a team whose identity is a kryptonite to your identity.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this, and then I want to get to Snarl's question here. So when it comes to, because Josh, it's been documented and reported that Josh likes the everybody eats mantra, and he enjoys not having to go to one specific receiver. Now, I've contested that.
Did Josh say that publicly?
I haven't heard Josh say that publicly. I don't know where people are getting that from, but I haven't heard it myself, right? I'm just saying what other people have said, right? This is fans' thought process since I can remember Diggs not being here anymore, is that this is what Josh wanted.
I'd have to hit that out of Josh's mouth, man.
Right.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I remember it might have been my second year in Miami, and we were in the offensive meeting room, and Gary Stevens was the offensive coordinator, and he was like, we was about to go out and practice. He was like giving us like I wouldn't say a prep talk, but he was telling us as wide receivers, you want to always give your quarterback somewhere to go with the ball. Like, right. Be that guy that your quarterback can count on to go get rid of the ball, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'll never forget, we went out on the practice field, and we were actually scrimmaging. We were two-way scrimmage. It was training camp. We were scrimmaging Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we were practicing with them. And so I had a comeback route, I think it was, and Bernie Kosar was the quarterback. He was in some pressure. It was during the team. He was in some pressure, and I ended up beating my guy on the route, and Bernie had a place to go with the ball, and Gary Stevens ran all the way down to where I was at, and he was like, "That's it, D. That's it, D. Always give your quarterback a place to go with the ball." Well, it just so happened that Bernie and Kosar and I had a great relationship because we did all the scout team stuff together. We was on the second team together, and I was his go-to guy on that second group.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
right. So he's looking for me.
Right.
Every quarterback wants a guy he know he can go to as his go-to guy. So all this, I'm glad I can pick who I want to go to. No, man, I gotta hear Josh say that.
Well, so the reason I'm bringing that up though is because when you look at, oh man, now I think I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were talking about having a guy to go to, and Josh really looking into it and wanting it, and how it impacts a defense not having to worry about one guy. That's kind of
but it was around the idea of okay. So Josh having whether he said that or not, I'm like you. I need to hear him say that. I don't believe that that's the case. But what I said was, is it possible that Josh meant when he said specifically, I don't want to, I like not having to only go to one guy, or I like not having to force the ball to one guy? Is it possible he meant he wanted more than Stephon Diggs and not get rid of Diggs?
It could be, definitely. No. Josh did not want to get rid of Diggs. Like that's not why Diggs. We know why he left. Well, I mean, I know you told the people whether they want to believe or not. We know the guy who he trains with. I know him personally. We know why he left.
Yeah,
like we know why he left, and it wasn't Josh why he left. Josh didn't want him to leave, right? So that's not even a debate. Well, not in my mind anyway. It's not
in mine either.
But the issue is yeah, that could have meant that, but to be able to argue or to still have a mindset to argue the fact that a number one receiver can change the outcome of games. A big time number one receiver can change the outcome of games after watching the Patriots game, and you still want to argue that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get to spread the ball around and you know, we don't. The other thing you said too is, again, you'd have to hear the conversation. You use the word force the ball to one guy. I mean, you don't have to force the ball to a number one receiver. You just got to scheme and play and call plays to where he's getting the ball more times than not.
Right.
It's not a force.
Right.
Not forcing. Right. It's the scheme is designed to get this guy open more times than not on the play we're calling.
Well, here's where I think that comes from, right? Because a lot of people's criticism on Stephon Diggs, namely in the playoffs, and maybe you can speak to this a little bit too, was the fact that Diggs was, you know, in a lot of people's minds, a no-show in the playoffs. He didn't produce against the Chiefs, and they cite the deep play that he had, the contested catch that he ended up dropping and went right through his hands, and the fact that L'Jarius Sneed locked him up, and you know, a number one receiver is supposed to be able to come through in any situation, no matter what. And my point to that was, well, he's not that type of number one receiver where he's just going to go over the top of everybody, or he's going to, you know, out physical whatever DB he's a route runner, and you have to use a route runner like a route runner. When you start trying to make him be a deep threat and be an over the top physical kind of guy and have to make those kind of plays, you're kind of setting yourself up for a larger margin of failure.
Yeah. Your percentage for winning and success goes down when you don't utilize him to his strengths. And you know, in those cases, again, you're talking about an AFC championship game. Mm-hmm. It's the best of the best.
Right.
And I'm sure there was combo coverages that was designed to take away their number one receiver. If I remember correctly, one of the worst, if I remember correctly in that game, one of the hardest coverages for a wide receiver, where you're number one or number six, to get open against, and the one you dislike the most is what we would call 2-man under, right?
Okay.
Or in this case, when you got a guy over the top and the guy underneath you, right in your hip.
So
right?
Bracket coverage, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot what happens with a number one. They got help over the top, and you got the guy playing the trail technique, and he's just mirroring all your moves. So we'd have to go back, look at the film, and see how much of that they played against Diggs before we say Sneed shut him down.
Right.
It's a little easier to shut him down when you got help over the top. When you ain't worried about nobody going deep. That's it. So we'd have to see exactly what that was. But no, I you know, him not showing up in that game is not a matter of him just not showing up. There was factors that go into that. And from a coaching perspective, you want to look and see, what did Kansas City do to take him away? And you could do that, though. You could do that when there's nobody else to throw the ball to. Mm. If you got somebody else that you can, like a strong number two or 1A, right, or a tight end that can take over the middle of the field, then okay. If that's what you want to do, you want to take him away, then we got other ways that we can beat you. The unfortunate side to the philosophy of, you know, everybody eating, there's no number one guy is the defense can play you honest, right? Yeah. They can play what's comfortable to them. They can play their philosophy without any hiccups. Man, the number one disrupts everything you want to do defensively. It disrupts it all. it disrupts it.
Yeah.
Right. Even most folks don't understand. Even when you got a cornerback that's traveling with a receiver, that disrupts your whole defensive philosophy and how you want to do things. You got to change a lot of your calls. You got to recoach and rethink different techniques and philosophies and strategies that like it changes everything. But when you got a group of guys that, okay, it's even, now we can play even and we can be comfortable in everything that we do. And it just, there's some advantages and there's some disadvantages. Yeah. And unfortunately, when we was examining how or why did the Bills lose this game, that came up in the conversation. I think not having a strong number one was more to the Patriots' advantage than it was to the Bills' advantage.
And I think it showed. All right, let's get to a couple of comments here. Snarl says, do you think those new jerseys affected our QB's ability to find guys since y'all couldn't read the number?
Nah. Nah. So as I think what happens is in a game like that, the play calling and the decision making from the offensive coordinator down to the quarterback, it still all comes down to the team's identity. Yeah. Like, why did Josh leave the pocket on that play you just showed when he really didn't have to?
Because he didn't trust his protection. That's why.
Right. So like all of that goes into it. And, when you play in a team like the Patriots, that their identity, they pride themselves on being physical. They pride themselves on being more intense. They pride themselves on being nasty and beating you up and pushing around. Like they take pride in that. They take pride in running the ball downhill and smash you. Like they take pride in that. And the antithesis to that is you want to be a finesse team. You want to be a team that does things, through the air. You want to be a team that does things differently than everybody. Like
well, let's say it like this, because this is what I based on what I've seen this team do, and Key has been saying this also pretty much the whole time that we've been doing the show. The Bills have built themselves to beat the Chiefs. You said this before. They built themselves to beat the Chiefs. That's really what it comes down to. And I guess my question at that point would be, is it possible for a team that has built themselves to beat one specific team, is it possible for them to continue to make a living, in this fashion without winning a championship? Because ultimately that's the goal, right?
Oh, very much possible. Very possible. When you're built to beat, in this case, the Kansas City Chiefs, and you run into a team that plays opposite of the Kansas City Chiefs, that plays differently than the Kansas City Chiefs, that has a different identity than the Kansas City Chiefs, unless you have a scheme and a level of talent within the player pool that's able to supersede those advantages, you're going to see what you saw the other night.
Yeah.
Right? A team that's physical, that plays intense, that want to play smash mouth, that want to come downhill, the Bills they're going to struggle with. And that's strange to say because all of them NFL players.
Right.
But I think you guys pointed it out Monday when you showed the videotape on the goal line and what happened.
Yeah. Guys throwing them arms out there trying to get some tackles on a 230-pound running back.
It's different, man. It's different. And it's going to impact you. Our concern earlier was about teams looking at this game and saying, okay, it wasn't more of a schematic thing to why the Bills or why the Bills lost the other day. It was more of an identity thing.
Right.
It was more of this is one of the components that go into giving the Bills problems, and it's got to be addressed some kind of way. It's got to be addressed by the Bills and the staff.
One last question about the Bills here, and then we'll well, it depends. Let's see what we got in the comment section here. So Lynn says, question, is our secondary going to be able to get right and hold up? So what I've And Sean even said, somebody asked him today, how likely is it that I'm sorry, when something to the effect of when does he anticipate Max Hairston and I think it was Tyler Bass, does he anticipate them coming back this season? And Sean's answer was, we'll see.
Interesting.
Very, especially after, like when you and I talked yesterday and we were talking about Max Hairston starting to do individual drills and stuff, not during games, but just off on the side of practice.
Right. So can you see what's going on?
Right.
Well, to answer the question directly, there is a way you could. How did she phrase the question?
Do you anticipate Max Hairston and Tyler Bass coming back?
No. How did the chat ask you? Asked the
question. I'm sorry. Lynn is a guy. So Lynn says, is our secondary going to be able to get right and hold up?
Currently, as it is, I mean, it depends on what you mean by get right and hold up, right? I think it's gonna be tough. I think
let's do this because right now the Bills are ranked 15th in defense in the NFL. Right. So let me get to where are they in? Let me see here. All right. So yeah. So on PFF, their defense is ranked 24th. Actually, their offense is ranked 3rd. Trying to see if I can get back to the defensive stats. Yeah, I don't have that in front of me, but yeah. So the as a defense as a whole, they're bottom half, lower third of the league right now as a whole, right? But it does seem like the secondary has a lot to do with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and when you're looking at a defense structurally, you look at it at 3 levels. You're right. And in this day and age, you have your Baltimores, you have your New Englands, those teams that still are built. You got your boy out there in the Chargers. They want to play downhill smash mouth football. Yeah. Well, that's not the majority in the league this year. Now, teams want to run the football, but they ain't. It's too much money invested in the quarterback position to be handing the ball off. Okay?
Right.
So when you look at it from that standpoint, you got to make sure that you're building your defense, obviously from the ground up with your front 7. You got it with your front 4 and front 5. You got to build it from there so that you could stop the run and rush the passer. But the second most valuable level is really not the second level when you're looking at your linebacker core, but it's the secondary. It's the 3rd level because they got to be able to do both cover the pass and come up and run fit.
Mm.
When you look at the 4 positions in the 3rd level, the safety position is that position that really has to be able to do both. And when you look at how the safety positions has been performing, it's hard to say they're going to hold up throughout the remainder of the season. It's hard to say they're going to be able to make the plays they're going to have to make in order for the defense to move from a lower 3rd defensive squad to a upper 3rd defensive squad.
Yeah.
I think the key to it, or I think one of the things you'll have to do if you really want to improve your secondary play, you got to rethink personnel first and foremost. That's one thing. And then you got to rethink scheme. Like a scheme, or the best coaches, I'll say it like this, they create schemes that better suit the skill set of their players instead of trying to fit the skill set of a player inside of their scheme. I think some of the things you might be asking these guys to do might not be in their wheelhouse to do. Yeah. And so there's a lot that go into that, but man, they've struggled. They've struggled. And everybody knows they've struggled. And to think that, they're going to hold up throughout the entirety of the season, really, the big question is playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hold up in the playoffs. I think it remains to be seen, but I think the best chance you got in doing that is shifting personnel.
Yeah, I agree. First and foremost, the first thing I would do is get Jordan Hancock in there for Taylor Rapp. That would be. I know Jordan Hancock is a young boy, but I think the fact that you've basically just given Cole Bishop the job, and he didn't necessarily earn it because he. So let me ask you this.
Wait, the problem with that is Rapp's the quarterback back there, right?
Yeah.
See that's first. That comes first. Like the quarterback, like that comes first. When it comes to playing safety, you got to have a guy back there that can recognize and adjust and get us out of checks, and he ain't coming off the field. Like the quarterback, it's just like the quarterback on offense. It takes a lot to get him off, right? So I mean,
how can you justify that? That's your worst secondary player, but that's your quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have somebody back there that can think the game, that can process at the level of speed necessary in order to make that adjustment. See, people don't realize this. They're making checks pre-snap and post-snap. Like players started and they still screaming out checks. Like all this is going on. Like there's a lot that go into that, and plays is just the ball is being snapped and you recognize something and they still checking out of stuff. So you got to have a guy back there who could really, really recognize things and get them in the best position possible to succeed. Yeah. And so the quarterback, like that's going to be the last person to
go. So let's get into this part of the Buffalo Bills, right? We kind of touched on culture a little bit too. Especially with Vu complaining that I compared the Bills to a cult. but as a player, when you see a coach's philosophy or their style or their schematics, when you see these things fail in the way that they did against the Patriots and continue to fail against teams of that type, what does that do for the locker room as a player? Like, what are you thinking at that point when you see, man, we're a good team, but we're just not built for those types of teams? Like, does that bring about like a concern? Is that what kind of conversations are the players having?
Man, we need to get some boys in here that can get in there and fight. We need to get some boys in there to put their face in there. Listen, man. That play you showed on the goal line, you better believe boys saying, man, you should have had a boy in the game. Man, we need to go get somebody that's gonna come down the hill. That's happening. It's happening. Guarantee you it's happening. Man, because they putting that one up on the screen. They seeing that. Man, he didn't get blocked. Man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Something got to happen. No, it's a conversation going. It's conversation. And you, after a while, you start to lose confidence in your comrade. Then you start doing things to compensate. You get out of position now. You're trying to make up for his lack of intensity or his lack of know-how, his lack of technique. Now things get all disarray. I mean, it can go left real fast. It can go left real fast. If there's a consistent pattern of that happening, man, boys start saying, look at it. Because listen, this Super Bowl year.
Supposed to be.
Super Bowl year. Right. There's a lot riding on that.
Right.
Bonus checks. Incentives. Like a lot riding on that, man. Listen, man. Get somebody in here, man. That's gonna come down the hill.
Yeah.
So they ain't gonna throw the chicken wing out there. That's gonna put their shoulder in there.
So here's another real question, and this will be for my man Vu. He says, "Come on, bro, 3 timeouts and we lose by 3. Relax. It was a bad. I think he means to say it was a bad game. They happened." But let me ask the question this way: when it comes to the type of loss that the Bills experienced against the Patriots, right? I know what the players get up in front of a camera and say, you know, well, we're on to week 6. It was one game, we're moving on, right? That's what they say. But after a loss like that to a division rival and the way that they were kind of out physicaled and the turnovers and the penalties and all that kind of stuff, I think that speaks to a mindset that the players had not just during the game, but before the game, and obviously with the loss after the game, right? So as a player, when you go through a situation like that, what's the live reaction from the player aside from, all right, we got to get through this. Let's get through practice and get to the next game. We'll take it out on them.
Well, the believe it or not, the players, a loss resonates with a player, and they face the reality of what we're talking about. Why? How do we lose that game? Like what went into us losing that game? And the hardest thing to prepare for when you play against any team is the physicality of a team. It's the hardest thing to prepare for. And that can discombobulate a lot of what you want to do schematically. The hardest team. It can cause decisions to be made that you won't normally make once you see the level of physicality. So when you sit down after a game, after a loss, and you're reflecting back on, man, how did this happen? Like, I get what your boy, was it Philly Bills? Did you just read his comment? I get what he's saying, but this wasn't a game you were supposed to lose. I think that statement really applies to if you're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles or a team that you're, what was the point spread this past weekend?
Last weekend, oh gosh, I think it was 16 points. No, it wasn't 16 points.
Whatever it was,
like 10.
Yeah, whatever it was, like I think that perspective is okay when you're playing a team you're equal. Like, come on now. I do think the quarterback played out of his mind, but I believe he was able to play out of his mind because he had one boy he was trying to get that ball to. Right. So player perspective in that manner is, they're going to say, what they're trained to say, but when they're not in front of the camera, they're looking at this thing and they're saying, you know what, we got to be more physical.
Yeah,
like, that's what really beat us. Like they beat us they beat us.
Yeah. Have you had any chance to see a Falcons game?
Yeah, I watched them play like a half.
Okay. What'd you think of Penix?
I like him. I don't think he's quite ready yet to lead a team to a victory. I think he's a primary part to them winning, but I don't think he's got it yet to where he's figured it out to the point to where he, you can put the ball in his hands and say, go get us the win. Okay. It's got to be a combination of, run, pass, great play calling. Like, it's got to be that. And, it ain't to the level yet where I'm too concerned about this weekend's game. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, watching him play, let me pull, I got the defense up here now, but I want to pull up the entirety here. Let me get back to here.
I'm looking at the comments where it says Sweat was saying Bills get pushed around, then got pushed around the entire game, which happens every game. I mean, that's a great point.
Right.
Like if there's a concern that I have about the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl, are they going to be able to match the physicality of a Philadelphia Eagles, of a Detroit Lions? Like, them boys nasty.
Yeah.
they got another level of nasty on them. Like they live to come up there and push you around. Like they got another level of nasty. Like that, because what that does, it demoralizes a team. It sucks the wind and the spirit out of a team. Everybody know you out there getting pushed around.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So if there's anything that, we gotta, I mean, remember I made this statement to you the other day. I think the Bills are facing some challenges. I don't know if they're fixable.
Well, you know what? While I have you here, can you touch on something that you put in the comments on Monday? And I tried to elaborate on it as best I could, but I want to get your full thought on it. You said the Bills culture right now is disempowering for the players.
We were talking about everybody eat.
Yeah.
That was the context of it. Well, when you every football player, wide receiver or not, they have a hope. Matter of fact, the economics of it, really the economics, the everybody eat philosophy goes against the economics of playing wide receiver.
For sure. For sure.
It goes against the economics of it. Like you got incentive that you're trying to meet based on how many passes I catch.
Exactly.
Based on how many plays I play. Right? It's based on on all of how many yards I get after the catch, how many touchdowns I score. And when you have and you brought it up, when you have a Kincaid that he probably had 4 receptions the first half or something like that, 4 or 5 receptions the first half.
Yep.
Right. And then the second half, you get 1 target. That deflates them. It demotivates them.
Mm-hmm.
It disempowers them. One of the greatest motivators for a wide receiver is the hope that I'm going to get a ball. Is the hope that I'm going to get targeted. And after running 25 routes and get 1 target or don't get no targets, man, it take a lot to stay up, man. Take a lot. Take a lot to stay up, man. Take a lot. So the whole idea of everybody eats can disarm you or disempower the players that's affected by that philosophy.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes. Okay, we're going to get you this week, big guy. Don't worry about it. Keep working. You're going to get it this week. I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes, I mean, and we know, bro. We know. Everybody on that receiving core ain't with the everybody eat. We know.
Yep. Talk to a few people that ain't with it.
We know. Right? But for the sake of, whatever.
Yeah, right. they make it work. They make it work. Yep. All right. Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay. So real quick, we running out of time here. So one of the things that I did want to pull up is just to show people, if you have not seen a Falcons game yet, the arm talent of a Michael Penix. And against this secondary, obviously there needs to be some concern when you see a pass like this. Let me bring it up to the stage here. When you see a pass like this from his back foot, and you kind of get an understanding that this can kind of just happen at any point in time, whether he's under pressure or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and play this, and you give me your reaction to this play. To me, this is not coaching at all.
Yeah, that's just talent. That's just all right.
That distance to the far side of the field.
No, yeah, he got some arm talent on him that's rare. Like he can throw it at every angle. I think his greatest challenge is going to be pocket presence and off script plays.
Yeah,
he's had 2 knee injuries, so he's not the most mobile quarterback. I mean, he can move around back there, but in this league, you got to be able to tuck it and run with it. And and arm talent alone is only going to get you so far. What concerns me more this game is the Falcons' capability of running the football, because they have one of the best running backs in the league. Now, I don't know, the offensive line still needs some work. But where are they as far as rushing the ball?
Let's pull that up. Let me see here. They are. Nope, I need. So they're 10th in offense. Where are their rushing stats? I think I just had them on this other screen. EPA per run, they are slightly worse than us. They're 0.8 expected points average per run. I'm trying to find a ranking specifically for their run game, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's capable of running the football in the league, but some teams are better at it than other teams. But looking at their capability, and that being one of the weaknesses to the Bills' defense, I just don't like the formula. That concerns me. I still don't think they have enough offensively to be able to score 30 points, but the ability to control the football, eat up the clock, limit the possessions of the Buffalo Bills, that's concerning.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't think it's concerning enough to think that they shouldn't come out with the win, but it's gonna take a level of effort, both defensively and offensively, that when you think about it, record-wise, it shouldn't take.
So run block grades, PFF has the Falcons 11th overall in run blocking. They have the Bills at number 1 in run blocking. Total run grade, they have the Falcons at 10th overall, and run grade overall for the Bills is 4th.
Okay.
So
I mean, they're formidable when it comes to running the football. The unfortunate side of that is the Bills. They're gonna make average run teams look better than average. They're gonna make exceptional run teams a little bit better, look more exceptional.
Right.
So that's the thing that concerns me. One, they're playing in Atlanta, they're playing at home. You're in the dome, but again, I don't expect there to be any trouble winning the ball game, but it's going to be more challenging than what it should be, because they got the capability of running the football.
Right. Do you have any keys to the game for the Bills in terms of offense, what they need to do, and defensively?
Yeah, I think one is don't turn the ball over. Right.
Obviously.
Right. Turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And two, sticking with the run game. Right. I think last week they kind of abandoned the run game.
Yeah, in the first half for sure.
Yeah, and I think sticking with it a little more. See, when you can run the football, there's an innate or a subconscious impact that has, and a confidence that comes with that. Like when you can handle a team physically, it makes you feel like, oh, we can do it. We can beat these boys.
Yeah.
Right. And when you can't handle it, and one of the best indicators to being able to handle a team physically is being able to run the football. And I really, the one asset I love about James Cook is his ability to get skinny, to get small. Right. It's hard to tackle a guy. He finds a way to get through the smallest cracks and spaces within the 3-yard zone. And I think that'll be to the Bills' advantage. So and defensively, the key is going to be I can't remember who asked the question, but hopefully how the secondary plays, man. That's going to be big.
Yeah.
It's how the secondary plays. So those two things I think will determine whether it's going to be a sweatless victory or one we got to grind out going to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get to a few comments here and then we'll jump out the window here. Let's see. Snarl says Josh needs to take one wide receiver, stay late each day, and run 100 routes.
What's that going to do?
Right. Develop some chemistry, I guess.
I mean, I guess the whole notion of everybody eats eliminates chemistry with a player. It is not really about chemistry.
Right.
It's not really about what game was we watching? Oh, I was watching the Cardinals game. When they came back and when the Titans came back and beat the Cardinals, there was a chemistry. You saw it happen between Cam Ward and what's the receiver name? Number 0. I can't think of his name.
Calvin Ridley.
And Calvin Ridley. You saw it. You could see the connection. There was a connection made. They started finding each other. You could see it.
Yeah.
But that's because Calvin Ridley is the go-to guy. He's trying to get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they struggled the whole game, then all of a sudden, boom, you saw it. That philosophy isn't prone to necessarily having a chemistry with one guy.
Does that, as a receiver or a pass catcher in this sense, because I want to include Dalton Kincaid, what does that do for the receiver in terms of their engagement, their involvement, their mental state? Like this,
it's a challenge. Like they got to work to stay engaged. Like playing the position, man. Like you don't feel involved when you don't have the ball. You don't feel involved when you're not getting targeted. You don't feel involved when there's plays being called. Man, I ain't getting the ball, man. You don't feel involved in the game. Now it's easy to say, well, they pros, they should always be involved. They're getting paid. Yeah, you're right. But they're also human too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're competitors. And I want to feel like I'm a part of this game. Give me the ball. Right? And so it weighs on your mind heavily. Like you on that sideline, you gotta work to stay engaged. You gotta work. Stephon Diggs didn't have to work to stay engaged in the game, man. He had to work in the game side. He had to work. He know it's coming to him. He on high alert. I know it's coming to me.
Yeah.
Man, let that third quarter, fourth quarter roll around. I got one target. I ain't got no targets. Listen, man, put somebody else in the game, man.
Careful, you sound like a diva receiver now.
Man, put somebody else in the game, man. Man, listen. Let's wait till after some of these boys retire, man. Get on these podcasts, start talking about.
Yeah.
You gonna hear it then.
Oh my goodness. Yep. Let me see. Lynn says, he's talking to Steve. Let's see. Their running back is a star in the making, very highly thought of. Yeah, Bijan Robinson is nice. Lindsay says, QB on the ground, then strip the ball away. Sorry, I hit the enter button too soon. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so she said, if the Bills defense can't get the quarterback on the ground, then strip the ball away. Okay, you gotta finish that thought, Lindsay. So we know their offensive line is not the best. They're still the Falcons. I mean, they're still building this thing out. What is your and I know I'm keeping you a few minutes late. I apologize.
What's up?
What is your thought on the Bills' defensive line from a construction standpoint, like from how it's built? How it's is the way that it's built conducive to getting the results that it seems like they expect to get, where the defensive line is kind of carrying the defense as a whole?
Did the two guys come back off suspension yet?
No, they're not allowed to come back until after next week.
Okay, well, so as of right now, they're not constructed to get done what they need to get done. So
okay.
When you add those two guys back, so you gotta have. So the way when you think about constructing a defensive line, it starts with the two guys in the middle, right? It starts with those two guys. They got to be able to. Those two got to be able to absorb at least 3, maybe 4 including a running back at times.
Okay.
Blockers. You got to be able to absorb it. If you can block that one technique or that 3 technique, if you can block that one-on-one, makes it hard on the defense to stop the run, man. Makes it hard. But when you know you got to use 2 guys, you got to use 3 guys to block 2 and 3.5 guys to block 2. Okay, now we're talking about being able to stop the run. I think constructively, they're not built. They're built to rush the passer.
Yeah,
man. I guarantee you go talk to 91, man. Man, how you see your man? I'm getting to that quarterback. I'm getting to that quarterback first.
Right.
That's what. Listen, the game rewards sacks more than it rewards tackles at the line of
pressures and all the other stuff. Yeah.
Right. It rewards that. So you're first and foremost, you're fighting against the psychological impact of, man, I'm trying to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you structure and your scheme really calls for you to rush the passer more than it does stopping the run, when it emphasizes pressures and sacks more than it emphasizes TFLs and no runs over, runs under, they talk about it. Don't get me wrong, they're telling them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an emphasis that's built into the scheme and the culture and the play calling that you can't escape.
All right, this will be my last question. Let's get to this comment though really quick from Nate. Says, always awesome getting Coach D's perspective, especially when it lets us know our eyes ain't lying to most of us. That's a great point.
That's what I want. I want to give you a coach's perspective. I've been playing the game for all my life and coaching the game. We want to give you a coach's perspective on it, not necessarily a fan's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to be able to get into that side of it. So I appreciate that, Nate.
So my last question, and then listen, for folks in the chat, if you have a question that you need to get out now's the time to write it in there, because I'm gonna ask this question and then we out of here. All right. So as a pass rusher or somebody on the defensive line, right? We know that defensive coordinators are able to scheme things up to get guys sacks. They can run, stunts or twists or certain types of blitzes to get a specific guy an open path to the quarterback, right? As a defensive end like Rousseau getting a $19 million per year contract that starts next year, he's going to be making big bucks. What is going through a player like that's mindset where he knows he's not getting a lot of sacks? Obviously, every defensive end wants to get sacks. In the scheme that we play, it doesn't seem like they do very much to get specific guys sacks. And yet there's this kind of unspoken expectation from the fans of, like, you got to produce, dude. You haven't had 10 sacks your whole career yet, and you just got the bag. Like, we need to see something, right? What's going through a defensive end's mind like that when he's not getting the kind of production that he wants to get?
Well, first and foremost, you would like to think that every professional football player is highly motivated to perform on game day. That's first and foremost. And when you don't have a scheme that is conducive to me maximizing my performance, when you don't have a collective effort within the coaching staff, within the players that you're rushing the passer with, it can impact that. One of the things that you mentioned, I wanted to comment on as it relates to rushing the passer, was what most folks don't understand. That's not an all-out go abandon wild get to the quarterback.
Mm.
You have a restriction in how you can rush a quarterback.
Okay.
Like, and it depends on who you like Josh Allen would be a great example. You got rush lanes, and you got right. things, you stay right here. You cannot go inside.
Right.
You cannot go, you're very restricted in what you can do. And that also can frustrate the defensive end. If he's told, listen, this week, Michael Penix, he's not that great. He can't get out, but you got to maintain your rush integrity, and you got to be able to beat this guy going around him. Well, that might be that offensive tackle strong suit. It's not getting beat outside.
Yeah.
So if that's what you call, so each week it varies, it changes, and you got to be good enough to adapt as a pass rusher, and sometimes you're able to, sometimes you're not. I like Russo's length. I like his speed. I don't necessarily like his size and his strength and power when it comes to being a defensive, because you got to have all of that. You got to be able to bull rush. You got to be able to swim. You got to be able to grip and grab. Like you got to have I think his strong suit is, it's just beating you off the edge, just getting off the ball, using his speed and quickness. But yeah, so it can be frustrating depending on the quarterback we're facing and what the pass rush scheme is for this particular ball game. Okay.
Last question will be from Lynn here in the chat. Says, will McDermott bring in Ward Lewis, Cam Lewis? I think. Yeah, Cam Lewis and Hamlin now. So I think the only way that's possible from based on what you said, Taylor Rapp can't come off the field.
No.
So that would mean Bishop.
He quarterbacking. I mean, you got a backup guy, but I thought Hamlin kind of quarterback too. No,
when he played last year, Taylor Rapp was still the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Rapp ain't coming off the field, man. That's the quarterback back there. He ain't coming off the field. I mean, obviously, if he get hurt, you got to put somebody in, but they'll just probably, they'll bark it off from the sideline. Taylor Rapp, if he quarterbacking like that, it's going to be hard to get him off the field.
Wow. Okay. All right, folks. That's all we got. We try to keep these shows to an hour so that we are, being as efficient as possible with our time. With that being said, Coach D, thank you so much for doing this again. Appreciate that. Listen, we want all your comments, all your questions, and all that kind of stuff. You can put it in the comments after this show is over. And again, like I said, I will get those questions to Coach D, and he will give me an answer. I'll get it back to you, or we can answer it on the next show. Coach D, however you want to do that is up to you. That's fine. But in order to know when this show is on live and popping, you gotta you gotta subscribe, and you gotta hit that bell and make that thing ring-a-lang-a-lang so that you can see when we're on, so that your phone can give you a little buzz in your hand and let you know, hey, Coach D is live right now. I need to jump in. I need to tap in, right? So the other thing you need to do is get your behind to the nearest Delta Sonic so you can get you some Reese's tea.
Yeah. Your boy Rich was like, D, I need my Reese's tea.
Yeah.
Right on up the street to Delta Sonic.
That's it. It's over there. $3.99. Last bottle. Oh, it was glorious. I bought a bottle yesterday. It was so good. Yeah. So make sure y'all go ahead and do that. If you are not in the city of Buffalo or any of the outskirts in Western New York over here, you can absolutely order it online. All you got to do is go online to reestea.com, reesweettea.com, and you can order by the case. You can order solo dolo. Whatever you need to do to get you some, make sure you get you some. All right. So that's all I got for today. Coach D, thanks again. Everybody in the chat and everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. And we will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat chant. Thursday, right? Or are we moving to Wednesdays?
Oh, we got to talk about it.
All right. So I will keep y'all posted. Either way, it's going to be one of those days. But I promise you, I'll put out a notification on our YouTube channel. Again, the only way you're going to find out is if you got that bell on and you subscribe. All right?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Peace.